All right, welcome back, peeps. I'm Dave, and thanks for tuning in. Save America, vote Tulsi Gabbard. I'm getting discouraged, just throwing it out there. One thing I do, which I probably shouldn't do, is even though I don't have long sleeves, I tend to wear my emotions right on my sleeve. So, lately, it's been discouraging on a number of levels. Number one, the channel continues to suffer as far as revenue, as far as growth. Tulsi Gabbard's poll numbers, not sure where they really are. I don't think I can sign on to the rosy estimate that she has like 20% support. There are too many candidates in the race. Mathematically, I can't see it. With, you got Beto and Kamala Harris and Biden and all that. The Bernie numbers, obviously, they do a lot of fake polling on Bernie, or they, like I say, they skew the poll where they just interview old folks and then they come up with a poll. I was watching Jordan over at Status Coup, and he did a great video about that whole topic. There's a lot of gaslighting. There's a lot of manipulation going on out there, and they are, you could say, you can do a video, well, they're scared of Tulsi. Yeah, they are, because Tulsi Gabbard means what she says, and she would go after all of these wasteful government sanctioned endeavors and escapades all over the planet where we need to go and install our leader, our dictator of choice, where we need to sanction countries where the citizens suffer and the rich elites in their government don't suffer. And then they play games with us. They didn't care about their people to begin with, and now we're going in and making it worse for those people. You want to know why we're destabilizing a good portion of South America, and you wonder why these migrants want to come here, because number one, they probably feel as though we owe them something since we've helped mess up their own country. So I could go off on a number of different tangents. I can even go local here in my own town, a referendum on building a fire station and some infrastructure and hiring some more EMS. Went down, the vote went to no yesterday. I voted yes. I even spoke to firefighters. There was this big online thing where on Facebook, several people basically scared, the poop out of a whole bunch of other people, saying that the proposal was socialism. And I could go off on a tangent on that. And why that word is toxic, and why putting that in your bio, saying that I'm Bob the Socialist, is not a wise idea. It's just not a wise idea. And if you want to be an economic populist, if you want to talk issues, if you want to say you're a staunch independent and you're different from other candidates because you're there to help citizens and help people. I have a congressman who voted no on a bill. His name is Rooney. He voted no on a bill to help citizens in the panhandle of Florida who were ravaged last year by one of the worst hurricanes on record. He called the bill fiscally irresponsible. I think it's a bill even Donald Trump was for. Okay, but he voted no, because he's a constitutional conservative. But he never votes no when it comes to increased military spending. All they do is vote for more military spending. And it's way out of proportion with the reality that most American citizens have to face. Voting for military spending does not help people in towns like mine, doesn't help people in the panhandle of Florida. So that message, not only is there an education thing that has to happen, but there also has to be some rebranding. there has to be some better explaining. You've got Tulsi and Bernie out there, and they're great candidates. They really are. And yes, I'm hearing more and more how I better be prepared because essentially Bernie's going to need all of the Tulsi supporters to go over and help him. Now, I'm not in denial of this, and I understand that I thought it might come to this, but I really thought because she was such an appealing candidate, both her demeanor, the way she delivers the information, the way she's not flustered when she's under pressure or people are smearing her, she's acted above really all of that. And but she's both physically attractive and she's attractive when it comes to these issues. She is the perfect candidate. And her military background, even though people like Anna Kasparian don't trust her because of her military background, and that's what this boils down to. A lot of so-called progressives just don't like military service. They don't like it. Which is a sad commentary on our military, but I can understand some of it because it's what our military is being used for. And then somebody would say, well, why would she join up with a military she disagrees with? Well, initially she didn't. She wanted to fight terrorism. And even that is a problem now within certain parts of this so-called progressive movement, which really has to base its existence in reality, that there are bad people in the world, and from time to time we may have to do something about it. But we don't go into every theater looking for a battle. What we do is we wait, we do everything we can. We use diplomacy, we use every tool we have in the toolkit before we send more troops anywhere. And we have congressional oversight of this entire process. So, that was a pretty crazy tangent. I am a little discouraged. My channel and its growth and revenue have kind of plateaued, and revenue has been dropping precipitously since about 2 weeks ago. And, I thought things were, and plus videos, what happens is I do a video like this, and it gets demonetized for 2 days. I got one from yesterday. It doesn't have a lot of views on it, but they're going to come back in 2 days and make a ruling on the video. And I've lost all of the revenue I would have gained on that. There's no, in other words, all the work I did and all the views that I got, there are no ads running on the video. So, and I have another channel that used to do this too when it was under 10,000 subscribers, and they would do this constantly, and they would demonetize the videos, and I'd have to go through the process. And I was doing much better as far as viewership over on that channel. But here, I depend on these first couple thousand views to get any revenue. So, again, I'm sorry I'm venting. It's just something that is, it's accumulating. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that at a certain point, if Tulsi's campaign doesn't really take off, I'm going to have to look into rebranding this channel, throwing my support maybe over to Bernie Sanders, or if the entire thing gets rigged like I think it probably will, then we really need to look at third-party options and ballot access. I watched Howie Hawkins the other day, Green Party guy. He was okay. I watched him on this episode of this show called Primo something, which I subscribed to, and then I watched him on RT America with Chris Hedges. He was better on RT America, but I think he's got to be really careful with his rhetoric if he wants to sort of grow the pie. If he's just out there to push the Democrat Party left, it's not going to work. The Democratic Party is not going to go left. Now, you could say, well, they end up that some of the people, the progressives in the party, adopt like the Green New Deal, and they've done some stuff that the Green Party has been advocating for. But for the most part, the corporatists they don't pay any attention to it. So you can't have a revolution in a counter-revolutionary party, and that's very insightful. That's Jill Stein, and she's right. She's right. And I never thought I would be here in this position talking about these issues. Somebody who voted for Donald Trump, and now I'm thinking to myself, we are living in a country, okay, that won't take care of its own citizens, that looks at everybody who needs help as being a freeloader. And that's not true. There are people that play by the rules, they do the right thing, they work 1, 2, 3 jobs, whatever they're doing to make ends meet, and they're still having financial difficulties. The homeless people in the country, you can argue as to why they're homeless. The bottom line is, if we're not willing to take care of our homeless and try to solve that problem, then we're truly not a very nice culture. We're not nice people. And we should be looking for solutions to those problems. We shouldn't just be funding a bigger military budget every time around and not give any lip service and any, putting feet to that lip service. We should be acknowledging that we've got these problems in the inner cities. We've got problems in smaller towns and communities. Even though everybody has a job these days, or 2 jobs, the problem is the food pantries are still packed out where I live. So either the people got used to using the food pantries and can't let go, or more likely is they need them in order to pay the electric bill. I'm not going to go out and buy all this food. I'll go to the food pantry. And by the way, I'll get a lot of unhealthy food at the food pantry, because that's the kind of stuff people give away. They're not giving away, vegan entrees at the food pantry. Yeah, you can get a few vegetables here and there, but it's always crackers and all that starchy based stuff, tons of bread and leftover bread. And I guess if you don't have any food, it's better than nothing. But the point being is that a lot of Americans aren't eating right, and a lot of Americans are relying on like leftover food in order to not have to pay another bill. So we're not, look, we have problems, okay? I don't know what to say. I'm like stuttering here. We have a lot of problems, and we have a lot of politicians that have put labels on things, that have created realities that a lot of people believe in. Again, I talk about the referendum in my own town, where voting for infrastructure was called socialism. And it was effectively done, and scaring people into voting against their own interests. Not just economic, but their safety. Would there be increased taxes? Yes, on landowners, okay, who bought property here, maybe 20, 30 years ago, who probably aren't up to date on their property tax to begin with, and who most likely will be not guilty, but most likely a fire will start on an empty lot where there's a lot of brush and it's not maintained because it's just a lot and nobody's building on it. It would have encouraged development and so forth, and now it got shot down. And a town like this where I live, we really need better infrastructure. There's a shot that we could become like the 3rd largest city in Florida someday, because there's like 142 square miles. It's a crazy number. It's a big area, and nobody's really planning. Everybody just says, well, it's socialism. It's just socialism, and it worked. Again, rebranding, folks, rebranding. So a lot said in this video. Am I quitting on Tulsi? No, I'm not quitting on Tulsi Gabbard, but we've got to face some reality that moving forward, the movement, the idea, the things that Tulsi Gabbard and to a lesser extent Bernie Sanders, but not too much of a lesser extent. Those two candidates, what they believe in, we have to move that forward. And if that means we go green, we go independent, we go wherever, we've got to build a movement. And again, going around, if you can't go through, you got to go around. And that means starting our own political infrastructure, talking to people, talking about, local issues, if that is what works in your town, talking about national issues, talking about everything. And it's all on the table. But right now, what I see is that people are getting, gaslit by the mainstream media every day, between the polling, between what subjects they cover each day, and it's discouraging. Because you got this great candidate, the best candidate I've ever seen, and that's why I started this channel. And yet, nobody is really paying attention, and when her name does get out there, it's typically part of a smear campaign against her. All right, I'm done, folks. Hang in there. I'm going to try to. And if you can support the channel in any way, please do, because I want to keep making videos, and I've got to choose between this channel and the other channel, and right now this channel is tanking and the other channel is slow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Aloha. See you soon.